Visually impaired with electronic reading technology for empowerment and independence.
A pastel blue swirling background reveals photos of host Bill Quain cooking. As they glide across the screen, cooking utensils such as spatulas and fry pans fly across the screen in a whimsical manner. The yellow Cooking Without Looking title twirls onto the screen. Host Bill Quain, a silver-haired chef, walks into the state-of-the-art mahogany brown kitchen.
Hey everybody, that's great. What a nice welcome. This is Cooking Without Looking, and I'm Bill Quain. I'll be your host for the show. Listen, Cooking Without Looking is a great show. It's for absolutely everyone. If you can't see well, maybe you're even totally blind, you're going to love this show, because we're going to describe for you all the techniques we're using, all the foods, that sort of thing. You're going to hear what you can't see, and you're going to cook like you've never cooked before. Now, if you have no vision problem whatsoever, no problem with us either. We're going to take care of that. We're going to cook some exciting recipes you're going to just love. Now, Cooking Without Looking is brought to you by two groups. I'd like to recognize them right at the top of the show. First one is Vision World Foundation, set up by Renee Rentmeester. This group is the one that's helping to bring accessible television to blind and visually handicapped people. And the other group is Magnify America. John Palmer, who's got some great technology for us that helps you in the kitchen or in your daily life. And we're going to show some of those things today on the show. Now, I'm Bill Quain, as I said before, and I used to be an executive chef. I've worked in a lot of kitchens, and I don't really work in our kitchen at home too much, my wife will tell you, but I do like to cook. And so what we're going to do today is I'm going to try to bring my background of professional cooking to the show, and I'm going to modify it based on the fact that I am visually handicapped. And let's just get this out of the way right away, because we hope that this show will run a long time, have a lot of episodes. A lot of people will argue about what word to use. Are you visually handicapped? Are you challenged? You know, are you handy-capable? Whatever, disabled? You know, it doesn't matter to me. As someone in the audience said a little bit earlier, I don't care what you call me, just don't call me late for dinner. You know, so we're gonna not worry about the words. You know what we're gonna worry about? We're gonna worry about the food, the hospitality, the fun, and the excitement of being in the kitchen and bringing all those good things to yourself, your family, and your friends. This is Cooking Without Looking. Stay tuned, and we're gonna do some great recipes today. Hey, welcome back to Cooking Without Looking, and now we're going to cook up something that's just great. It's going to be a fish dish. It's a salmon dish. It's cooked in just aluminum foil. There's no pans or pots. Terrific thing. It cooks up quick. It's great. It's a honey Dijon salmon over top of asparagus with chopped pecans on top of it. And I'll tell you something, it's delicious. You're going to love it. Low cleanup, low maintenance, and it just tastes great. It's quick to cook. Man, oh man. Let's get started on it. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take, first of all, is a piece of tin foil or aluminum foil, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a salmon fillet. Now, this salmon fillet this is about maybe a 7-ounce salmon fillet. It's a pretty good sized piece of fish. May even be close to 8 ounces there. Now listen, when you're looking for fish, you want to tell if fish is fresh or not. You can't see well, you're saying, how can I tell if fish is fresh? I'm going to tell you. One thing to do is smell it. If it smells like fish, guess what? It ain't fresh, okay? Fish should not smell like fish. It should be nice and fresh. You should be able to press the flesh of the fish, and it should be nice and firm. Your fingerprint shouldn't stay in there. You know, and let me tell you something. If you ever buy whole fish, and you're wondering if that's fresh, I'm going to tell you a song, and we can all sing if you'd like. I'll sing it anyway. It's about fresh fish, and it goes to deep in the heart of Texas. And let me tell you, the song goes, the fish's eyes are bulging and bright. That's how we tell fresh fin fish. The gills are red, the scales cling tight. Ooh, that's a fresh fin fish. Yeah, so if you're ever wondering about it, Just sing your, just sing yourself that song. You know, we want everything to be mise en place, okay? We want everything to be set out already for ourselves. I'm just going to show you quickly what I have. I got some butter, which I'm going to put in the bottom there. Right here, I've got some chopped scallions, which I love to use. We use them for color. Just so good. And I like the flavor of them, too. Right here, we have garlic. And as one of my fellow cooking chefs says, garlic. Emerald is just fantastic the way he says that. Only he can say it that way. I put garlic in everything. This is a chopped garlic, really almost minced. It's really chopped up so fine. I got capers. No one knows where they come from. No one knows what they do. No one knows anything about them, but they taste great, okay? We like to use capers, especially with a salmon dish. Capers are really good. Finally, here I have my chopped pecans, and they're chopped up. I would call them a medium coarse chop here. They're not dust. You know, there's some pieces in there so you can taste them. So this stuff is really good. There's one other bowl here, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. But what this is chopped tomatoes, and I'm going to use this for my dirty rice. This dirty rice is going to make you dance. Going to make you smile. You're going to love it. It comes in a can. It's called Italian seasoned chopped tomatoes. Has got garlic in it. It's got other stuff in it, some other spices. It's just fantastic. Just open the can, pour it in there, get itself ready for you. All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some honey Dijon salad dressing. Now, you can make your own honey Dijon marinade if you like. And, you know, listen, it's a good idea to marinate it ahead of time. But I've got some in the oven there already done for you, so we'll do that. But I just want to show you how to quickly do this. I just take the marinade, I pour some, and I just rub it on the salmon. You know, make sure it gets nice and coated with this stuff. And that salmon, boy, I'll tell you this salad dressing is great. Hey, you know, Italian dressing is a great thing to put on fish. I do a lot of fish on the grill. My daughters and I love to fish. Some people say, do your wife love to fish? No, but she loves me. So she goes fishing. And I'll tell you, it's just really great. You take Italian dressing, you put it right on your fish, marinate your fish. Boy, put it on top of the grill. Whew, it is so good. Works great for chicken, too. All right, let's take some things here. Let's take a little bit of butter and just put it in the bottom of the tin foil. Now, for those of you who can't see what I'm doing here, let me just describe it. I got a little tub of butter here. I'm just taking some out. It's just a whole piece of butter. I'm just going to rub it on the bottom of the tin foil a little bit. There's no secret to this. This is pretty simple, but I like a lot of butter, so we'll put a little bit more butter on there. Some people say, oh, you know, I don't like to use butter. Well, you know, I use butter when I'm cooking, but I don't sit around eating it all day. So, you know, I'm not going crazy with it. All right, then we're going to take some asparagus. This is fresh asparagus, and this time of year, it's just easy to get here in South Florida. Fresh asparagus. And what we did was we trimmed the bottom pieces off. You know how it gets kind of woody down there? And so we just trimmed the bottom pieces off there. I'm just going to lay that asparagus right on top of that butter. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little olive oil. And again, I use an olive oil that has a little handle on the side of the jar, so I know it's my olive oil, and it's easy to find it. And I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil right over those asparagus. Asparagus being the plural of asparagus, in case you were not following or were absent that day in school. Now let's see, we have the asparagus, we have the olive oil and the butter. I'm going to lay my salmon now right on top of that asparagus. This is just delicious. I just love this. Ooh, look at that piece of salmon. I'll tell you something, if you can't see, you know, this is really some piece of salmon here. This one, when it swam upstream, got there before all the other ones. This is a big piece of salmon here. It pushed the other ones out of the way. It got to the food source right away. And let's see, let's put some capers on there. Hey, you know, you don't like capers? Don't use capers. I don't care. But I like capers, especially with salmon, and I just like them on there. I'm going to put a few of those on there to have them ready to go. This is so simple. My scallions, I'm going to put some scallions in there because I like scallions. Hey, you know what I use scallions for, too? Is a great garnish. You got these chopped scallions. After you get your salmon on the plate, just sprinkle a little chopped scallion around there. Gives it nice green color. Again, people say to me, hey, Bill, you're legally blind and you're doing a show for people with bad eyesight. Why are you talking about color? My feeling is, you know, one of the things about cooking is sharing with other people, having a great time, bringing guests in, and they might be able to see. So, you know, you're not going to be able to say to them, well, I don't care how the food looks. I can't see it. You know, you want to do your guests up right. So that's, you know, a nice thing to think about for them. Well, that's my Italian seasoning. Oh, garlic. Garlic, as my friend would say. I love garlic. I put it on everything. I love cooking fish. We cook fish all the time on our grill, like I said, and a lot of times we do it right in tinfoil on top of the grill. And by the way, this recipe you can do on top of the grill as well. Makes a great grilled item. And finally, our chopped pecans, our coarsely chopped pecans. Now, let me just tell you again, what I've had, I have this all sitting on a piece of tinfoil. Recipe calls for a 12-inch by 18-inch piece of tinfoil. Don't use 11 by 17. I guess you can. It doesn't matter, I guess. But anyway, what you do is you just fold the tinfoil up. You know how to do this, right? You're going to make sure that you don't have any holes in your tinfoil as it's cooking, okay? So I folded the tinfoil over, and I'm folding it over on the ends and pressing it down so that nothing will leak out of here, okay? And this is part of cooking without looking. I'm discovering that what was still in here was a spoon. So, which is why I'm no longer a surgeon, okay? Didn't we have 7 assistants sitting around here a few minutes ago, and now one's gone? Let me out of the tinfoil, let me out. Well, there we go. Anyway, so we just fold this up. Now, you see, this is a human show. I got to tell you, other chefs, this happens all the time on cooking shows. Other chefs, they don't have an audience like I have. They don't have an audience people can't see well. They can see well themselves. If they make a mistake like that, they can't say on their show, oh, they have to do a whole take all over again. No, well, whatever's in there, we'll just cook it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here now, and I'm going to take this salmon, and I'm going to just slide it in here. You can put it on a tray if you like. I'm just going to slide it into my oven, okay? Right in there, and it's going to be cooking. Folks, it's cooking at 475 for about 18 minutes, depending on how thick the fish is. I'll tell you, one of the things I like about using salmon for this dish is if you use like a snapper or something like that, which I love snapper, like to catch snapper, like to eat snapper, it's just fantastic. If you use a snapper, it's a white fish. When you cook it like this, doesn't get any direct heat on it, doesn't develop that nice caramelized color on it. Salmon's already got a color to it. Looks great no matter what you do to it. All right, quick, while that salmon's cooking, let's do this. Come right over here with me. I've got boil in the bag rice. Nothing complicated, nothing fancy, you know. I tell you can do rice all kinds of different ways. Boil in the bag, and I'm not promoting a certain brand here. I'm just putting rice that you boil in a bag. Is so convenient and so easy. Here's what I do. This kind that I have here comes in plastic bags, and you put the plastic bags standing up straight in the water, okay? They've got one edge of them is called the cool edge. It doesn't get hot. Don't know how it does that. Don't know how my TV come on either. I just turn it on and happy to watch it, you know, so I don't ask too many questions about stuff. I just enjoy it. So what I do is I just take these bags of rice, okay? I'm just going to set them on my cutting board for a second. All I did was I pulled them out with the, see, before I put them in there, I knew where I put the cool edges on there so that I don't get burned doing it. Now I got some hot water in my pan. Okay, I don't need hot water in my pan for what I'm making here. So I'm just going to dump the hot water out. Always dump hot water into a sink. Very good. This morning's audience didn't quite get that. But anyway, and now look what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a knife. And you know, hey, you don't need a samurai sword in the kitchen. I use small knives most of the time for most of the work I do. And this is just this knife I'm holding in my hands here is a little paring knife. It's about maybe 6 inches long. It's got a hardwood handle to it. It's a nice blade. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut open these bags of rice. That's all I'm doing. I'm just cutting open the bags of rice, okay? And I'm going to just take that rice and I'm going to dump it right back in the same pot where I cooked it. Why? Because my wife would yell at me if I made 2 pots dirty at home when I only had to make 1 pot dirty at home. I'm going to take this bag of rice. I'm going to take this second bag of rice. I'm going to do the same thing, just open it up. And wait till you see how simple this is, and yet it is really a good dish. I'm going to pour it right back in there. And then, folks, all I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take that can of chopped tomatoes with the Italian seasonings. I'm just going to dump it right into the rice. All right? And I'm just going to take my wooden spoon. Remember, I like to use wooden spoons. Why? They don't heat up. I call them the kitchen cane because I can find out where things are in the kitchen with it, moving around. And I'm just going to mix up this rice and tomato mixture to make what we call a dirty rice. People call it Italian rice. You can make it with different things, call it Spanish rice. Hey, let me try this. Next time you make rice, pour a little brown stock in there, you know, little drippings from the turkey or whatever you're making turkey, and then chop up some nuts, some pieces of candied fruit, and some walnuts and some pecans. Mix that right in with the rice. Oh, I'm telling you, pour a little olive oil in there. Matter of fact, let's put a little olive oil in there to give it just a little bit of olive oil flavor. It's so good. We're just going to drizzle just a tiny bit in there. You know, it just picks up the rice flavor a little bit. I mean, it just picks up the flavor a little bit by giving a little bit of olive oil flavor. It is sensational. Anyway, we got the rice all done. Wasn't that easy to do? Wasn't that easy to do? Yes, I thought so. I thought so. We got the rice all done. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back over and get the salmon, which is all done cooking now. Let's do the magic of television again. Okay, magic of television is pre-cooked salmon, okay? So we got a lot more here because we got a studio audience, and we're all going to have a little bit to eat here of the salmon. So let me take a piece of it out of here and just show you how great this is, how simple it is, and how fantastic you can make it look. We're going to do a little garnish here for you. We're going to cut some salmon up, put some dirty rice on it. Oh, yeah. We're cooking without looking. All right. Let's put a nice clean plate down here. I'm going to take my salmon. All I got to do is just undo the tin foil on the salmon. Just unwrap it. Got to be a little bit careful because sometimes you get some steam built up in here. You know, you give yourself a facial or something like that. You got to be careful with it. And just take you can just, you know, tear it apart if you like. Look at look at that steam come off of there. It is just piping hot and just done just perfectly. And if you want, you can just sort of slide it right onto the plate. And man, I'll tell you something. Look at the way those colors just came out from some caramelization there and everything. Oh, whoa, mama. This looks great. I got to tell you something. This has got the asparagus in there already. I mean, this whole thing is done. Now look at this. I'm going to just tilt this a little bit here for the camera to see. I got the edge of the plate a little bit dirty, but I'm going to clean that up in a second. Have a towel ready, and so you can keep your edges of your plate clean. That's important. And you know what? You can't see well. How do you tell if the edges of the plates are clean? Just take your, how you do it? Just take your thumb, run it right along there. I'm going to put spoon some of this rice on here. Whoa. Yes. I'm singing a song here because this looks so good. The colors are fantastic. Now, we want to do a little garnish here for this, and so I'm going to take some of my chopped chives, okay? I'm just going to sprinkle it around the plate. Let it go out to the outside edges of the plate. It looks, you know, that's kind of the new thing now is sort of wayward garnish there. And what I have here is a lemon slice that we sliced the lemon real thin, and we twisted it a little bit, and we put a bit of paprika on one edge of it. Now, what does that do for you? That gives you some nice height to this dish. I'm placing it right on top of the piece of salmon, and what we have now is we have the pinkish salmon. We got the chopped nuts on there. We got the lemon slice twisted like this, you know, with the one piece one way, one piece going the other way. We got the rice with the tomatoes in it. We got the scallions sprinkled around. Oh, mama, we're cooking, and we're going to eat this right now. Stay tuned for more Cooking Without Looking as we eat our salmon and go on to our dessert.
Host Bill Quain interviews Annette, a visually impaired audience member.
Good to be back for this next segment. We've got some great stuff lined up for you. Now, I'm here with Annette Watkins. Annette's a local resident down here in South Florida. She's going to be helping me a little bit on some of the preparation, particularly on the quiche. And let's get to know Annette a little bit. Annette, how you doing today?
Great, how are you?
Fine, thanks. Good to see you here. I'm glad you're here. Annette, tell me a little bit about yourself, and don't give away anything like age or anything like that. We're not looking for weight statistics, anything like that. Just where you're from and how long you lived in South Florida here.
Okay, great. Well, I'm from New York, yay, originally. Moved down here as a teenager and just went along great with my life through college and everything. I got diagnosed with Stargardt's at age 30.
Okay.
So I've been dealing with that.
So just this past month, okay, good.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been a little bit of a challenge, but the good thing about it's been slow, progressive disease, if there's anything good to say about it. So you get to adapt to it pretty easily.
So Stargardt's now, that's what I have, and we have no
Right.
vision in the center of our eyes.
Exactly.
We can see a little bit around the outside there,
Right,
and that's
exactly.
a change over life, I guess. There.
Exactly.
Super. So you actually had it happen to you a little bit later in life. I was 14, which is a great time because there's nothing much going on in your life at 14. No emotional things going on.
Oh, no.
But everybody adapts. You just go on. I mean, you could have a pity party or just go on. It seems like you've gone on really well. Do you have a family?
Yes, I do. I have a 16-year-old son.
Oh, super.
And I'm a single mom, so I can relate to a lot of single moms out there and just really working hard to keep everything together.
Now, listen, tell me about what kind of food you like.
Ooh, well, recently I lost about 15 pounds,
Wow,
so I've
super.
changed my whole diet from basically taking sugars out, eating a lot of protein, vegetables, fruits, the whole 9 yards. So,
Oh, boy.
yeah. it's really
And what do you like to cook? And when you cook, what do you like to cook?
Oh, I like to cook healthy foods. I like to cook salads, but not just a plain old salad. Salads with walnuts, salads with avocados, and all kinds of interesting things.
Oh, neat.
Eat a lot of eggs, a lot of protein, a lot of chicken. Yeah.
We're not having any of those foods today, so
Oh,
let me get
darn.
somebody else from the audience to help out here. Now, we're going to have some great things today. Actually, you're going to help me do a quiche, and I know you've been in the back pre-prepping a little bit, too,
Right.
so that's been kind of fun. Now, what about in the kitchen? Have you found as your eyesight has progressed a little bit here, your vision problem has progressed, have you found any challenges in the kitchen that you have a particular problem with?
Absolutely. I'm not as bad off as some people might be, but I am enough for my own as far as challenging myself. And the hardest thing is actually seeing the recipes, reading the boxes, knowing how much to put in. And when they use a red box with black letters, forget it. It's very difficult.
Yeah, sure.
So I use a magnifier or video magnifier to put things under to be able to see what the recipe calls for.
The first thing we're going to start with today is a couple of quiches that I think you'll find very interesting. And we actually have the recipes for the quiche on a computer right up there in the kitchen with speech access on it. And so we're going to just go through the recipe and have it read to us and
Oh.
start cooking up a storm.
Excellent.
Okay?
All right.
Has everyone moved the live animals away? Because we're going back to the kitchen and we're going to turn on some gas. We're going to do some quiches for you. Annette's up here to help me. Annette, let's get started. Let's cook our quiche here. Now we're going to do two quiches today, Annette. We're going to do a crab, jalapeno, and cheese quiche. And we're going to do an onion, cheese, and bacon quiche,
Ooh,
okay?
sounds delicious.
So the first thing we need to do, let's get our onions cooking, okay? So if you come right over here with me, what we've got the stove top here, a little range. I'm just going to turn this on. And you want a fairly high heat. Hey, by the way, you know, look at the saute pan I have here. For those of you at home, this saute pan has got high sides on it. And you know, you can saute. There's no reason why you can't saute in a really high-sided pot. You know, and it does two things. One, it keeps you safer because stuff doesn't splatter around. And number two, saves on pots because then you're going to throw stuff right on top of it. You can cook right in there.
That's what I use.
Do you use a high-sided
Yeah.
pot? Okay. Why don't you grab the butter there for me, please? And let's put a little butter in here, and we're going to get that melting in the pot there. And I like to use olive oil too when I saute. Is this the olive oil right here?
Right here, yes.
Okay. Now you know what we did here? We bought an olive oil thing that has a little thing on the side, a little handle
good.
inside of it, so I can tell it's the
Yeah.
olive oil instead of throwing the kerosene from the stove in here. So we're just going to pour a little olive oil in here, not much. Just to give it some flavor. Olive oil is such a great flavor.
Oh, it
Don't you-
does,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, why don't you do this for me, please? Why don't you grab the oignon? We have two oignon. That's onions. Okay. We have two of those, and just put them right in here for me, please. Okay. And that's it.
One.
Okay. Good.
Two.
Good. They're in there. And then, what I want you to do is take the wooden spoon and switch places with me. If you would just stir them a little bit, and let's put a little bit of garlic in here. Now, let me see where I put my garlic.
Is there a reason
right
you're
here.
using this wooden spoon?
I'll use the wooden spoon again to keep things, oh, we did that the pre-segment, let me mention that. I always use a wooden spoon, it doesn't heat up, and it doesn't scratch your pans. I call it the kitchen cane, because I use my wooden spoon to find my way around the kitchen. Let's put a little garlic in there, and some people, you know, like to put the garlic on the bottom. I like to put it right on top there, and then flip it over. I find it just gets, a little more garlic juice down on stuff. And we're going to do too is, so I took some garlic, I took a little, remember I had the mise en place, we talked about that, I have all my stuff out here. I knew exactly where my garlic was. Now, I just made a mistake. I just put my garlic back someplace where it wasn't before. So
Uh-oh.
we may be using the garlic again later on in the show. And
dessert.
but remember that if you're going to take the time to put stuff out where it belongs, when you put it back in the place where it was. So you grab it again. Hey,
How am I doing?
you're doing great
Okay.
so far. What I have here is I have a, you can buy these in the store. This is a salt shaker. It's actually a salt grinder. And I don't know if it makes a difference or not, Annette, but I just like doing it. And so I like to, what I'm doing right now is I'm just holding this right over the oignon, the onions, and I'm just grinding some salt in there. And I have a pepper grinder here as well. I have black pepper here. And the pepper grinder is one of those kinds you see. It's a tall wooden one with a little thing. You just grind the pepper. And this is important. A lot of people wait until they're almost finished cooking to add their salt and pepper. I say add it to your ingredients as they're cooking. So Annette, let me have you do that for a second.
Sure.
If you keep an eye on that.
No
What
problem.
I'm going to do is I'm going to move right into getting our pie shells set up and getting the body of the quiche ready. Okay, so if you'll just tend to those for a second, that'd be super. You're doing great. All right, now I've already cracked the eggs into this bowl. I've got a silver bowl here. It's a pretty good sized bowl because I don't like to take a chance on stuff spilling. I have a wire whisk. Now, you know what a wire whisk is. It's a whisk made of wire. Very good. Last week's audience didn't get that. Now, what I'm going to do is, notice I'm going to beat the eggs first before I add the cream in, because why make my life hard? So if I beat the eggs, and what you do when you beat the eggs, you can use a wire whisk, or you know what works just as well? A fork. Okay? I like to hold the bowl on a little bit of an angle. I'm tilting this bowl a little bit to the right-hand side here, and remember, the whisk is in my right hand. So when I tilt the bowl like that, what do? I spread the mixture out. I get more of the surface on the whisk on the surface of the food, okay? And so it whisks up quicker. And so all I'm doing is beating this up. I want to make sure that my eggs are nice and smooth. Now, I can see well enough to see that these eggs are nice and smooth. You know what? If you don't see well enough, how do you do it? You put your hand in there and feel it. If you feel any pieces of the yolk still around, then you got to beat it a little bit more. All right, now I'm going to add my milk. I'm going to see my half and half. Now remember, we're cooking 2 quiches here, so I'm going to add, in this case, I started with 12 eggs, and I'm going to add 4 cups of half and half. And I've already got this stuff set out for myself so that, I'm not looking around now. I knew exactly where it was going to be. And all I'm doing is I'm taking my whisk, and, you talk about doing things quick, doing things fast. I'm whisking with my right hand, I'm pouring with my left hand, and you'll notice, for those of you who can see, for those of you who can't, I'm going to tell you, I had my ingredients that I'm going to be adding when I needed to do a right-handed movement. I have those ingredients on the left, okay? So that I just save myself time, and I can, I'm not reaching over top of my bowl to get those ingredients. What we did was we had a little spill here as I was pouring that, and the reason was I had a little too much milk the recipe called for, and I wanted to get rid of some of it and put it on the counter. Okay, so now, so never admit the mistake, because you know what, the food can hear you, okay? Okay, how are we doing over there, Annette, with the...
It's smelling good.
Oh, I can smell it over here. Can you smell it at home? If you can, adjust your TV set. Something's wrong.
I'm getting a sunburn over here.
Now what I have, let me come right over here to do this. What I have is I have 2 pre-baked, well, what these were frozen pie crusts. You see, I like to save myself time, okay? I mean, making pie crusts is fun. Have you ever made a pie crust before?
Never.
And you know what? You don't have to. And it's a pain. It's rolled out. Now listen, for those of you who like to bake, and by the way, we will do a Cooking Without Looking baking show. Will you come back and help me with that?
I would love to.
That'd be
Thank
super.
you.
That'd be super. And we're going to actually make a pie from scratch. But save yourself a little time and go ahead and buy the frozen pre-formed pie crust. It makes it so easy. What I did was I just took them and put them into the oven at about 375 for about 10 minutes just to firm up the crust a little bit so it doesn't get soggy when you put the stuff in. Okay? How are we doing there, Annette?
I think they're almost done.
Okay, I think they are
don't
too.
wanna overcook 'em.
Why don't you turn them off there for us, please, if you would?
I'm not sure which way.
Here, let me
can't
help you.
see it
Yeah, I
very
know. Let me
well.
help you. I practiced on this earlier. There we go.
Okay,
There we
thank
go.
you.
We're all turned off. Now, let's come over here and let's put these quiches together.
Okay. Two
And,
quickies?
Yeah. What I have is I have the two, these are 9-inch pie shells, okay? And hey, I want to show you something real quick, because this is so cool. We were at the cooking store yesterday. My wife and I went there, and we found a thing that I didn't know existed, but I've heard other people have been using it. It's a rubber mat that you put on, and it's heat resistant. You put it on top of your sheet pan
Ooh, I
there,
like that.
your cooking pan, and it keeps things from skidding around. You can bake right on top of this, buddy.
That's
Put cookies on there.
wonderful.
And boy, if you can't see well, I forget exactly what it's called. Go to the website. We'll have information for you on that. It keeps things from flying around. If you
That's
can't see well,
wonderful.
things slide
Yes,
around. You
they
can't
do.
find them. This way, you put them down, they stay where they are. All right. What I want you to do is we're going to take the Gruyere cheese. And let's sprinkle the Gruyere cheese. You do this one, I'll do this one. We've got 2 containers of Gruyere cheese. And all we're doing now, folks, is we're sprinkling this Gruyere cheese across the bottom of the crust, okay? So just get it all in there. It's pre-measured. You're using about a cup and a half of Gruyere cheese, okay? Let me put this like this. I'm going to put these 2 bowls together and put them off to the side. Why am I doing that? Emerald does this. If it's good enough for Emerald, guess what? It's good enough for me. Hey, have you seen Emerald? He is a cool guy. I like the way he cooks. All right, now, let's try to remember which quiche shall we make the, listen, this quiche on the right is closer to the onions. We'll make that the onion quiche.
Okay.
We'll make this quiche on the left the crab quiche. So let's get our crab here. Again, I was able to reach right over to get the crab because I knew exactly where it was. Now, let's put the crab, and just take the crab for me, please, and put it, make a nice base of it there, please, Annette, on the bottom. You got that bowl in your left hand there? Okay. And what we're going to do with the crab quiche is we're going to put some of the pimentos in the crab quiche.
Ooh, the colorful pimento.
Yeah, for color.
Okay.
And let's put them in the other quiche too, okay? So if you would just put little pimentos. We have the chopped pimentos already in the bowl, right where we wanted to get it. Okay, so we're ready to go there. You know what else? This gets the jalapenos. Whoa!
Ooh, the hot ones.
Jalapenos. Let's do the jalapeno dance. Yeah. Okay. When you do these, you got to have a little ceremony. You got to kind of drop them in like
Ooh,
this.
like dancing.
Okay. Yeah, because the dancing jalapenos, these are wild. You know, and you got to feel yourself. You know, why do I use jalapenos? The reason I use jalapenos is because a man of my age has very few thrills left. You know, so jalapenos are about it for me. Now.
What's my excuse?
What you guys were talking about, we were talking about bacon earlier, and everybody's wondering. They're saying, well, wait a second, they're making this stuff, but they haven't even cooked the bacon yet. Annette's going to go over there to the microwave for us. Annette, how are we going to set the microwave for?
Ooh.
2 minutes?
We're going to just set it for 2 minutes, but guess what? It's done.
The bacon's already done, out of the package,
It's all done.
chopped,
That's television.
and in a bowl, okay? Now we're going to put the bacon. Now the bacon, what we did was we cooked it. It came out nice and crisp, and then we chopped it into pretty small pieces because you want to use small pieces of stuff, especially in a quiche. You know, nothing worse than taking a forkful of something that's nice and soft like a quiche, and then you got something big in there that you can't cut with a fork. So would you add that to this one on the right? Now this one on the right is our Gruyere cheese, onion, and bacon quiche, correct? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Got to keep them straight here. Okay.
You want all this bacon?
No, just about that much is fine. Thank you. And now, would you please take the onions and just put the onions right on top of this? Okay. Just ladle them right in there. Okay. And what Annette's doing is she has her pan. She's just taking the wooden spoon and ladling the onions right out in there. Another way to do it, you can just dump them in there and just smooth them out with the
we'll dump the rest.
the wooden spoon. Sure. There we go.
There you
Okay.
go.
Excellent, excellent. Now, let's add a few of the, let's see what else do we have to add here. We have the, our scallions. Let's put some scallions in both of them for a little color, okay? And these scallions are just chopped. You know what a scallion looks like? It's like a long, skinny, onion, grass-looking thing. And I like to cut the little fuzzy piece off the bottom of it and cut the last little bit off the top. And then just chop them right up in small pieces. Makes a great, colorful thing to put in your dishes there. Okay, and I believe that that's about everything we wanted to put into these. Let me just review. In the crab one, we have the crab, the cheese, and the jalapenos, and we got the pimentos and that kind of stuff in here too. And in this one, which is we have our cheese, we have our bacon, we have our oignon, our onions.
Right.
Okay. Oh, do me a favor. We've got some salt and pepper here. Let's just season this up a little bit more. Okay. And Annette, you asked me a question. If you can't see well, how do you know how much salt and pepper is coming out? How many times you turn it to grind it out? What I like to do is test my stuff first. I'll grind some into my hand. Here, I'm sorry.
not doing this right.
It's okay. Let me show you. You just grind it. You just turn it like that. Okay. And it just puts it right in there and puts them in there. If you have something like that, you don't know how quick the pepper comes out of your pepper mill or your salt grinder, grind some into your hand so you know how many turns gives you how much, so you know that ahead of time. Now, we're getting really ready to put this in the oven. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our mixture here. Let me just whisk it a few more times again to keep it, make sure it's all still mixed up just fine. And let's see, we put the nutmeg out here and we moved it during one of the pieces.
Here it is.
Oh, the nutmeg up there, great, thank you. Now, nutmeg, I like to add at the last minute here. I like nutmeg in my quiche. If you think about
like eggnog.
Exactly. You think about eggnog, put a little nutmeg in there. I think it just gives it a nice nutty flavor to it. And which nutmeg, does give you a nutty flavor. Okay, I just put
We're going into the holiday season.
Exactly. I just took a few pinches out of here and put it in there. You do it to taste. You get used to it as you go along. So we'll whisk it with the we have a ladle now, and what we're going to do, and I'm going to ask you to do this, Annette, is I want you to just take the bowl with the milk or the half and half and egg mixture and nutmeg, and I want you to ladle it in. Now, while Annette's doing that, let me just say this: if you can't see well, okay. There's nothing saying, there's no contest going on in the world that says you got to fill the quiche all the way to the top, okay? So what I do, and what a lot of people do, is you just put your thumb, and let me see if we can move this to the side a little bit so we can see this. I just put my thumb in there across the lip of the pie crust, so I can feel when that liquid comes up until it reaches my thumb, and I think that one's a pretty good one right now. Let's do the other one there.
So I usually overfill them all the time, so that's a good way to do that.
And when you overfill them, what happens?
It spills everywhere.
It spills everywhere. You're carrying them to the stove, and it spills everywhere. Sure. So what we're going to do is we're just going to ladle that. Let me get rid of a couple of our mise en place bowls while you do that. And that's just ladling it in there, and just using your thumb to feel. Let me see if this one. Yeah, that looks good. Now, what happened is when she poured this mixture in there, the ingredients kind of floated around in it. And you want that because that's going to give you a nice bit of color throughout it. We have one final ingredient we're going to put in here, and this is the Parmesan cheese. I call it Parmesan cheese. And we're just going to sprinkle that across the top. And remember, what did we say the Parmesan does, Annette?
This is a test.
It is a test.
I think it adds some texture.
Adds some texture and color.
Flavor.
Flavor and color.
Well, I wouldn't worry about color if I can't see.
Well, that's the thing, though. Are you always cooking for people who can't see?
That's true.
So we want to think about that. Part of, there's 5 senses to flavor. We eat with our eyes, our nose, our hearing. Hey, did you ever snap a fresh bean and it snaps or something like that? How about snap, crackle, and pop in your cereal? We use our mouth to feel it, and also the tactile, the chewiness of it, or that kind of stuff. So while we may be operating with 4 of our senses, other people we were serving, we've got with all 5. And so, hey, by the way, you can only taste 4 things, and you can remember hundreds and hundreds of aromas. So smell is so important in a thing. All right, now what we're going to do, why don't you come over with me, and we're going to take this, we're going to carry it over, and we're going to put it in the oven, and we're going to set our timer for 45 minutes, and we're going to cook it at 350 to 375 degrees, your choice. Okay, so let me just put this in here. Now, listen, putting things into an oven can be a challenge for someone who can't see well. And again, these oven mitts are great. But as you get used to your own oven, you get better and better at it, okay? So we're going to close the oven door. Let's go right over here, Annette, for a second. What we've got is we've got one big mama timer here.
Oh, my.
Okay? And this timer is great because it's so big. Now, if you can't see at all, timer isn't any good, but you get a talking watch or something like that. You can set your talking watch. This timer is great. This is available commercially, and you just move it all the way to 60 and then turn it back to 45. That's what I've done. I got this. What it is, folks, it's a big round timer that's got huge numbers on it, and it clicks like crazy. It's just great. Now, we're going to cook that way for 45 minutes. Let me just set that down like that because we're not going to use that right now. Now, Didn't that 45 minutes fly by? This is just fabulous. Here we have 2 quiches. We have the crab, jalapeno, and cheese quiche. And what was the other one? The other one was
The crab, the onion.
the onion
And bacon.
and bacon and Gruyere cheese quiche. I'll tell you something, folks. Fabulous as an appetizer. Make a whole meal out of it. All I can tell you is we'll be right back with more Cooking Without Looking. Let's have this quiche right now. Come on, camera crew. We're going to enjoy some quiche.
Audience member Celia joins host Bill Quain in the kitchen, ready to prepare dessert.
Hey, we're back. It's Cooking Without Looking, the dessert section. This is good. Listen, I have someone here to help me right now. This is Celia Chacon. And Celia, you're completely blind, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
And that's from
Diabetes.
From diabetes, okay? But you like to cook.
I love it.
As a matter of fact, you used to be a caterer, did you not, in
Yes,
Chicago?
yes.
Okay, good, good. So Celia was in the back during the first couple segments yelling out catering help to us, and that worked out great. Celia, we've got a great dessert to make here. We've put the station out here. Celia and I know where things are, and so that we will not be blending the dog, the cat, or any roving pineapples or vegetables that come by. We're going to make a quick and easy dessert. And let me just tell you about the ingredients we have out here. We have, first of all, we have pound cake. And pound cake is terrific. It's rich. It's called pound cake because you use a pound of butter to make it. What we did was we sliced it. It's just a commercially produced pound cake. We sliced it. We toasted it. We put a little butter on it, toasted it in the oven. Oh, about 250 degrees. You don't want to do it too hard. You can put it under a broiler for a few seconds, but it just gives a little crunchiness to it, makes it great. We've got some whipped cream sitting on this plate right here, and we're going to put this on top of everything. I've got some raspberries, and these were just frozen. This is a frozen raspberry product, Celia. You would ask me how many raspberries, about 2 pounds.
All right.
Okay? And with the juice, we just put it in this pitcher here so we can put it right in the blender in a minute. Celia, what do we have here? We have the powdered sugar. Do we not?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
you got that.
sugar.
Powdered sugar, and we're going to use that. Some people call it pastry sugar or cake sugar. What do we have up here in this next thing up here?
Yeah, we have the honey.
Honey. We're going to use that for sweetening. It's a great thing to sweeten with. How about raspberries? We're going to use.
We have the raspberries here in this dish.
Okay,
as a
raspberries
garnish.
right there. We're going to use them for a garnish. And up at the top here, what do we have?
We have our peaches.
Our
we
peaches.
did have our peaches.
We moved them right
and
here.
I lost my peaches.
Remember, we moved to the left
Thank
a little
you.
bit. There we go. Okay, and so we have some peaches, and these are just canned sliced peaches. Going to make a great meal for us. Let's start, Celia, by making the raspberry coulis.
All
And all raspberry coulis is raspberries in a blender with a few things thrown in with them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the blender, and I'm going to pour the raspberries right into the blender here. And you know, raspberries tend to splatter, and very rarely are you wearing a raspberry colored jacket or shirt or something like that. And in the audience, okay, let's do some powdered sugar. Okay, so that'd be great. And I'm just going to put I'm going to carefully measure some powdered sugar into here. You just
Check carefully.
Yeah, just carefully. Well, I was careful. I didn't spill any.
Not to spill it.
That's
All
right.
right, good.
How about some honey for me? I'm not
Alrighty.
speaking to you in an endearing term there, but
All right,
I do
I
like
hope
you. Okay? And we're just going to spray a little, you know, squeeze a little honey. By the way, this honey jar here, it's plastic. It's in the shape of a bear. So you can, you know what it is when you reach up in the cupboard and find it, you know. Unless you, I don't know, unless you get other things in the shape of a bear, who knows? I'm just trying to fill up time with talking here while I put the honey in. Don't pay attention to that. Okay, there we go. So we have the raspberries, we have the powdered sugar, we have the honey, and now I'm just going to give it a little shot here in this blender. Hey, by the way, always put the top on the blender before you start it up. Unless you want to repaint the ceiling this week. Let's give it a good shot. That's what a raspberry coulis is, just blended up raspberries with a few little things in it. Okay, now, this is so quick and easy. We've already toasted the pound cake, but that was no big deal. But you don't have to toast the pound cake, okay? Celia, let me give you a couple pieces of pound cake here. If you would put them right on the plate there, I got them on this plate. If you take them from this plate, okay, and put them on your plate that you're going to cook on down there, or that you're going to make them on.
All right.
Okay, got that one?
Ready?
Excellent, excellent. I'll move some things out of your way
Put it
here.
this way.
Okay, now, Oh, you know, we forgot to put the raspberry
drizzle.
coulis first down.
Oh, shall we
so if you
pick them up?
Now, the way you pick them up is to hold them in your hands and lift them off the plate.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
That's secrets of cooking there, okay? I'm just going to pour a little bit of this raspberry coulis. Look at the way that looks on that plate there. It's just it's a white plate with this raspberry there. It's just terrific. Okay, so now you can put your pound cake back in there, okay? All right, good, and we'll wipe our hands there. All right, now let's put some peaches on there. And the peaches are on the top there, okay? Top of your cutting board.
Right, I
Absolutely
moved
terrific.
over, I'm
Okay, we
sorry.
moved over, okay?
Right.
And all Celia's going to do here, she was asking me, how should I put the peaches on? Let's put 3 per slice, and she said, shall I fan them? I'm thinking, man, she used to be a caterer, you're right, okay? And the reason caterers fan things, looks like they have more, they keep their portion costs down.
Exactly.
Okay, and then they charge the customers for it. They say, well, it was fanned out. You know, obviously we
These are thinner
have to spend money on
pieces.
that. There we go.
Okay, we're gonna let her
Doing that.
fall.
Okay, oh, that looks really, really nice. Making it look so pretty. We're talking about colors. We got the red raspberry, we got the kind of yellow orangey of the peaches and the pound cake there, and just looks so nice. And then what we're going to do, that looks terrific, Celia.
That's enough?
Yeah, that'd be just
All right.
fine. Let me put a nice dollop of whipped cream on there. And a little while, we had an accident a little while earlier because this whipped cream is white, sitting on a white plate. I thought it was a towel, and I grabbed it to move it. So that's one of those exciting cooking without looking things that we have happen in the kitchen there. And so now what we're going to do is we're just going to put plenty of that on because people love whipped cream. You ever notice that?
Oh, yeah.
They just love whipped cream. Put it right in the center there. Now, Celia, how about putting some of your raspberries around for a garni? Okay, and just, you know, remember we talked before about spreading them out on the plate, just have a little fun with them?
Exactly.
You know, sure. That'd be great. Let's put some of the other side of the plate at your 12 o'clock.
right.
By the way, when you're talking with folks that can't see well, I ask people to do this with me. Tell them to clock the plate, you know, it's at the 12
Exactly.
o'clock, whatever.
Okay.
And that make it easier for you?
Yes, much easier.
Okay, so unless
Is
you
that
use
fine?
unless you're the kind of person who uses a sundial, you have no problem with the
Oh,
clocking of it,
wow.
okay? And that's great. And let me just do this. I'm going to pour just a tad of this coulis right on the top here. This is a dessert with maybe 6, maybe 7 calories in it, no more. And very little. Okay, I'm going to tilt this plate up for us to look at. Look, we got the red of the raspberries. We got the pound cake. We got the white whipped cream. We got everything going here. Hey, give Celia a big hand. She did a nice job with this dessert.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.